What's up, everybody? Time for an In the Bag update video for spring. It's still quite rainy here in the Pacific Northwest, but it's starting to break a little bit, and I've been playing a little bit more golf, so this is the bag system I've been using and will be using throughout the spring and heading into summer, unless anything changes. I have a couple of things that I might like to add to this system, but this is what I'm using for the moment. Still using the Gateway backpack bag. Love this bag. It's still in tremendous shape, and for the money, it's just a really great, well-made bag that's made in the USA. I really like it. Highly recommend checking it out. Gateway backpack. It's a really solid bag. It has done me really well. I'm looking to eventually upgrade to a cart. I really like the look of like the Zukas and that sort of stuff. I've been speaking with a guy who is starting a cart company who may be hooking me up with one eventually. We'll have to see. If that happens, I'll let you guys know, but I'm hoping to get that going on for the summer. I think that would be pretty cool, especially for me, so I can kind of throw my test discs and stuff underneath, and I don't have to stuff them into my main bag system. It's kind of annoying sometimes to try to carry extra stuff to test for review during a round when I already have so much stuff I want to carry for myself. Let's get into it. Magnets. Orange soft magnet. Staple in my bag. This one's beat in. It's warped just like I like it. This one's like 168 grams or so. Also how I like it for approach and off the tee for magnets. It's just dead straight. It'll fade right a little bit. Hyzer flips through the woods. Downhill shots through the woods. Some approaches as well for really floaty, straight approaches that'll kind of sneak through a couple trees maybe. Or a little putter turnover. It's just a really nice utility short range disc for me that works super well, and I will still throw them off the tee and on approach quite a bit. Still putting with the Jawbreakers. This one's 169, so it's a little bit lighter. It is my go for it kind of longer range jump putt type. I don't really jump putt, but more for longer range putting. It'll stand up for a little bit longer for me, and it will carry a little bit longer on the line. So I've hit quite a few pretty long putts with this thing. I like it quite a bit. I will occasionally throw it on approach, but usually I throw the orange one instead. So I'm trying not to beat in my Jawbreakers too fast. This is my main putter. It's a max weight Jawbreaker. I really like the Jawbreaker plastic. It's feeling better and better as it breaks in. This has got a super grippy, almost starting to feel almost like chalky. It just feels tremendous. I love the plastic. And it just feels great in the hand. It grips well, but it still releases very similarly every time. And they're just really straight, hold the line for days, and I putt really well with them. When I'm not messing it up, they're going in the basket, and I really like it. Then I have the Caltrip. This is a Zero Soft Caltrip from Latitude 64. I really like this disc. The soft plastic feels amazing. It's super grippy. It just inspires confidence. I know I can get a nice firm grip on it regardless of weather conditions. It just feels great in the hand. I really like this disc. It is super straight. It's very straight, stable too. I can throw it about as hard as I want to. I don't have to worry about it flipping over on me. It will just hold dead straight and finish gently to the left or finish dead straight on the line. I can throw it on just a gentle anhyzer and have it hold a really smooth left to right without really turning. Just like a very gentle, if I need to bend around a tree, works super well. This is a really great, accurate point and shoot disc that's super consistent, and I feel really confident in it already. So it's already become kind of a staple in my bag where I'm throwing a lot of layups and short approaches with this thing, just because I know it's not going to glide too far. It's not going to flip. It's a really consistent disc. I like that thing a lot. Not really throwing it off the tee so much as on approach. My main tee shot putters are both from Axiom. I have the Soft Proxy. This one's 168. Got a little dome on it. This one's getting a little bit flippy for me sometimes, but I'll more hyzer flip it to flat. Maybe it'll fade right a little bit, but it's super straight and glides for days, so I really like this thing, especially in the woods or on short holes. It's a great tee shot disc, and it layers super well with my other tee shot putter, which is the Envy. One of the best driving putters on the market. I've said it plenty of times. It's a great disc. This one's lightweight as well at 168. This one I was throwing a lot. It's some of the shots I would have used this for have been taken over by the Caltrip just because I feel like it's a little more consistent and it's a little bit less glidey. It's heavier, and this one's a little bit, sometimes it'll glide past the basket, or I'll kind of get it to ride right more than I want to. So this one hasn't been getting thrown all that much. I've actually gone a couple of rounds without throwing it at all, and we'll see. We'll see if I end up keeping it, but I probably will, especially if I'm going to play in the woods or short course. It'll probably be in there. Mid-ranges. I've been trying to throw more mid-ranges. I feel like they're pretty consistent. I like the ones that I'm carrying as well, so I've been throwing a lot more. The Wombat, I'm not throwing as much as the other ones, but I do like it. This is a good hyzer flip shot that has no fade on it. So once I get it to stand up and start to carry down the line, it will not fade. It will just go straight on that line. Maybe it'll fade soft right, but it will never hook up at the end. So if you need it to just stay straight all the way, it never really will veer off the line unless you throw it high and try to get it to do that. If you throw it good and nice and flat, or hyzer flip it up to flat, it will just hold dead straight. So it's a great utility disc in the woods and stuff for accurate lines where I need to get a lot of glide. It's also a great disc to get out of trouble if you don't have much of a reach back, because it has so much glide you can kind of just snap it and it'll float for a while. So it's a great disc for getting out of trouble, just super straight shots with a ton of glide, and tailwind. Tremendous tailwind disc. Even if I would throw a driver, but I have a tailwind, I might throw this instead because it just floats for days in the tailwind. I really like that. Wombat, G-Star, love the G-Star plastic. Onto some more mid-ranges. These are probably the ones I'm throwing the most, are the Compass and the Anchor. Compass has been a staple in my bag since I put it in there. I've been really loving these. I have a ton of them. I collect them, and I have a bunch. These are the two that are in my bag currently. This one is just an opaque stock Opto. It is 176, and it's just dead straight, super neutral. It has a tiny fade at the end, maybe, but not a whole lot. I throw this one for a lot of turnovers these days. Rather than throwing something really flippy and looking for it to turn naturally like I used to do, I'm trying to work more true anhyzer releases into my game, and this disc works super well. If I get it on that nice anhyzer, it'll hold the turnover really, really well. So great turnover mid-range for me, or hyzer flips, gentle hyzer flips straight, and soft hyzers. Most of the time though, if I'm throwing a soft hyzer with a mid-range, or I want a little bit more stability for mid-range hyzers without them being as overstable as the Anchor, rather, I'll throw this compass. This is the Opto Sparkle Double Stamp Ricky Celebration Compass. Love this thing. This is a beautiful disc. Usually clear is not really the greatest color, but this one's so sparkly and shiny that you can see it really well, and it's really easy to find, and I love the way it looks, and it flies great. A little bit more stable than your average Opto, and I like that. So it layers very well in the bag. Then the next step up is the Anchor. I have two of them. Still kind of fleshing out the differences in flight, but I have noticed that this Retro is flatter than the Opto. They're both 176. The Opto has a little bit more dome. So I think the Opto actually glides just a little bit more, and but still has that consistent finish. The Retro might be slightly more stable, but it might not be. I haven't really tested them back-to-back enough yet, so I'll have to kind of see how that goes. But they're both perfect complement to the Compass. If you want to throw your Compass, but you want more stability, less turn, more fade, the Anchor's the absolute perfect choice, and it was a no-brainer to go in my bag. They layer extremely well, and between the Wombat, Compasses, and Anchors, there's almost no mid-range shot I can't accomplish at this point, which I like quite a bit. I like the Retro. I feel like I'm going to be carrying this one more often just because it's got a really nice grippy feel. I like that it is very easy and inexpensive to replace, and also I think it's going to be a really great flyer when it breaks in. It'll probably fly like a Compass and just have a good feel to it, and I won't have to worry about losing it. Opto, beautiful, great feel. They're both really nice mid-range discs, so I like those a lot. That's all my mids and putters. Let's get into my drivers. Still, for the moment, have the Signal in my bag. It's an extremely flippy disc. It's kind of what I'll throw because I don't have a sidearm throw, so I can throw this backhand, and it will turn so hard that I can kind of work a sharp turn with this disc. You can also throw it on a gentle hyzer flip that'll work right, and maybe kind of finish back flat and carry pretty far. It's a good beginner driver as well, but I haven't been having as much success with this as I was early on, so I'm not sure if it's going to stick around. I've been looking into some other understable options, so we'll see where that goes, but for the moment, it's still in there. I have the Opto Jade, Sparkle Jade. I still have this one in the bag. This is more for hyzer flips and finesse distance. If I don't have any run-up or something, I can get a little bit more distance out of this because it just stands up. This one's definitely more stable than your average Jade. I've thrown some other ones that are super flippy. This one is not really that bad. It's just very straight. But most of the time, if I'm throwing this, it's because it's a tailwind shot. bombs in the tailwind will fly for days. Lost my first run Thrasher that I was throwing a ton. Left it on the ground accidentally, and some jackass just picked it up, put it right in their bag. Definitely has my number. I definitely didn't get a call. That's just what happens. Sometimes people just rob your plastic. This is a Big Z Thrasher. Flies almost the same, so it's no big deal. I love the way this thing looks. It's super pearly and got that rad kind of Velociraptor stamp on there. So it's no big deal. I'm throwing this one instead. It flies almost identically. Bombs. This is my longest flying, straightest distance driver. Occasionally it'll ride farther right, or I'll flip it more than I want to, but I usually throw it down a little hyzer, get it to stand up, and this is probably my farthest flying disc in the bag. It is my go-to straight line distance driver. Looks like a lot of plastic right now in this bag system. Then I got an Air Trespass. Let me try to cover up my ink real quick. Air Trespass, these have become somewhat difficult to find. I've heard that DD is putting out more of these. I will plan to get a couple more backups once the new run comes in. This one is what? The Thrasher's in the 160s, by the way, or 170 flat, and the Jade, like all Jades, is in the 150s. This one is 155 grams as well. And, yeah, let me get back to covering up my ink here. Just bombs. This thing flies just like all my other Trespasses, has a tiny bit more turn, but basically the same fade, and it will glide that little bit farther. So this is my longest distance Trespass, and I will throw this one if I need to try to air out a big distance shot, but I still want a little bit more fade than the Thrasher. Great disc. This is my Prime Trespass. This one's similar to the Anchor. I just want to have something in the bag that I know I can replace easily, and I have no sentimental or monetary value attached to it. If it's gone, it's gone. I'll get another one. I'm not too worried about it. Started out really overstable. It's max weight. Started out very overstable. Probably one of the most overstable Trespasses in the bag. But this one's broken in a little bit. Now flies pretty similar to my other ones. I'm interested to see if I break it in some more, if it'll become like a really nice long distance disc that will flip and ride more. But it'll be a little more touchy, but it might fly a little bit longer. I'm interested to see how that's going to progress. Then my go-to pre-Sweden 170 gram pre-Sweden Lucid Trespass opaque. Love this thing. Still my favorite driver in the bag. It's ultra consistent for me. It never flips over on me too much, and it flies really, really far and has that nice consistent finish. I just love this disc. It flies exactly the same the whole time I've had it. I've barely broken it in at all. I mostly throw it in more open lines and stuff, so I don't bash a lot of trees with it, but I've had it for years, and it's still just extremely consistent, very similar, and I love that thing. I know exactly what it's going to do. A couple more discs in here. I have the Culverin. This one is for straighter fairway lines that will finish quite strong to the left, and also just kind of low hyzers. It works really well. I like this disc quite a bit. I can also throw it into light headwinds and stuff. This was one of the more overstable discs in my bag for a while there. I'm most likely going to replace it with this Page Convict because it is also extremely similar. Let me hold up here and plug in my camera before it dies, because I have the cord right here. Let's see. Page Convict is 170. Just like the Culverin. They fly very similar. I'm having a little bit of trouble kind of figuring out how to describe the differences. I'm not quite done testing the Convict, but it seems to be like maybe it flips up and rides just a touch more and might even fade a little bit more. But they're ultimately very similar, and I think I'm going to switch to the Page Convict just because I really like Paige. I've been a fan of her for a long time, and I want to be able to support her and carry this in the bag. Similar to Ricky and the Compass, you know, I wasn't really interested in a new mid-range when I got that one just to check it out because I like Rick so much, and then it works out so well for my bag that I'm have to throw it in there, and then I'll figure this will probably happen with the Convict where I'll replace the Culverin with that one. Then finally, I've only thrown this thing a couple times, but it's worked out quite well so far. It is a Frostline XXX, so it's kind of like a flat top Firebird type flight. It's a little slower. It's like a 7-speed. Very low glide and extremely overstable finish. So this is a super meat hook disc. I've needed that slow meat hook in the bag for quite a while, and I think this is going to do the job just for those occasional shots where you really need to hook around the corner or something like that, and you know it's never ever going to flip on you. It's going to have that strong fade. this is going to do the job for me quite well. And I like the fact that since it's slower, I can rip on it and it will carry a little bit and then still have that dramatic fade. So I really like that. Haven't thrown it much though, so we'll have to see where that goes. But the Frostline plastic just feels like a really nice, like super grippy, soft, opaque opto plastic. I love it. I would love to have this exact feeling plastic and more in my drivers. It just feels great. That's my bag system for the moment. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will check you guys later. Cheers.